What I'd like to talk today about is the benefits of working from a remote work environment. There are many benefits, but I'm going to talk about 5 points precisely. A lot of us have thought about working, and most people have thought about working from home at some point, but unfortunately it's not a decision which most people can make on their own. It's a decision usually reserved for the manager or their boss. However, I'm going to make a few assumptions here, since we are talking about opening your own business, that you are a self-motivating individual and you have that option now to choose where you work from. The very first thing which pops to mind is time and money which you will save from not commuting to work. The hassle of getting to work is not only the traffic, etc., but also the time that you have to spend on a regular basis traveling there, and the money which you will have to no doubt spend getting there. This can be in the form of, look, you're spending money whether you're using your own car, whether you're using the bus, plane, train, whatever it may be, you're spending money there. And of course, depending on where you work, there'll be a significant amount of time which you will also need to spend on the road getting to that workplace. So that's something which you will immediately save, and you'll notice that over the course of the year, how much money and time you have actually saved. The second thing, and this is of course very obvious, is the money that you'll be saving in the rent you will have to pay usually for the office. And when we're talking about the office environment, it's not only the cost of the rent, there's other factors which also come in, other costs which come in as part of the rent also. There's something called the business rate which you will have to pay for. There's electricity, there's the phone bills, there's the maybe gas bill, depending on the type of business that you're involved in. So these are the things that you need to consider, all the different types of overheads you need to consider when you're thinking about the office. And depends on the number of, also another thing very significant is the number of people you have working with you or working for you. The more people you have, the bigger the office, and therefore the bigger the cost. So that's a very significant cost which you can save if you're working from home. And of course, the downside is if there's more than one person, then really you're not going to invite them to work from your home environment anyway. So that usually works when you're working by yourself. Believe it or not, your level of stress also reduces working when you're working from home, because if you think about it, all you have to do when you're working from home is you get up, you brush your teeth, you wash your face, maybe you have breakfast, and then you just think about where you're going to be sitting for the rest of the day and where you're going to be working from. You don't have to think about putting on makeup if that's what you do. You don't have to think about what you're going to be wearing and so on, and traveling time, and whether you're going to be late, and all of that kind of thing. So therefore, ultimately, it reduces your level of stress. The fourth thing here is the fact that we're all different. We're all different, and therefore we all work better at different times during the day. There are people which you will know in your group who work better early in the morning, and there are other people who just really can't get themselves to kickstart until maybe 1 o'clock in the afternoon. When you work from home, when you work in your own time, you have the option to be able to start early or late. And this is really, really important, because it really depends on, if you're using or choosing the time for you to work at when your brain is at its optimal, you essentially are increasing the level of productivity. So very, very important. This is something which really, really has helped personally for me in the past when I worked remotely. Lastly, it is easier to manage your level of stress and your work-life balance, because if you're working from home, you may have family members who are very close to you. You may have young children who are very close to you. So if you are someone who can motivate themselves, who is able to avoid any distractions, this is the perfect place, perfect setting for you to have a balanced way of life. So I hope this helps, and I hope you can take into consideration all of these factors before opting to go for the easy option, which is the office. And especially in this day and age, you do not have to work in an office environment with all the technology which we have at our disposal.